You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. So with the previous models, they got this special Super Console X package. I did talk with the guy and he doesn't know for sure if he's going to do it in the future. So what are we going to get? It's the GT King. I did a review a very long time ago. So if you want to see like what it's capable of as an Android box, I would say consider subscribing and also like check out that video. But overall, let's take a close look at the emulation part. The box, we'll do an overview of that later. With the B-Link products, we're going to get a very nice high quality manual with some explanation about the, it's all freaking same in different languages. Inside the box there is nothing really special. Oh, but it's an Android box, but also we're going to get the very nice air remote, power supply, and this time it's a 12 volt. And of course we're going to get an HDMI cable and some other paperwork, Core Alec, toilet paper manual deluxe for your controller, and well, an extra card how to operate the dual system. So that is very nice, so interesting. Read it if you want to have more information about that. Of course I will show you in this video. We're not going to use the remote today because I already made a full Android review about this. We're going to use the power supply and of course the HDMI cable. Oh, and not to forget, let's take a close look at the controller, because how good is that thing? Well, I've already shown you in the beginning of this video, we're also going to get fake PlayStation 2 controllers. Yup, like always. First, most important, the wicked smelly test. They smell chemical and nice. But how do they feel? So first of all, they feel very lightweighted, and I think there is no rumble function in it. They feel very cheap. The D-pad is okay. The joystick feels very slippery. Even there is some rubber compound on it. So there's not like the cheap versions. On and off switch, and they work on 2 AAA batteries. These compartments are always very hard to open. Of course, we're going to get the dongle for each controller. So that is what we're going to try out. We're going to put some freaking batteries in this thing, and just to see how it will work eventually. But let's take a close look at the box itself. But what can we expect from the king? The king of boxes. But this is not applying to the Nvidia Shield, because it can defeat that bad boy. Would be cool to make like a Super Console X about that thing. But let's take a close look at it, because this thing has some awesome features, including some light up features in the eyes. At the back we're going to get the input for the power supply, an USB 2.0, HDMI, RJ45 Ethernet connection. We're going to get digital out, and here we're going to get an AV out. So here at the left side we're going to get 2 3.0, we're going to get the slot for the CF card. This one includes the, let's take a close look at it, the 256GB edition, so it's a beefy card. The front nothing, and at the right we're going to get nicely worded like Wi-Fi number 6. And at the bottom we're going to get ourselves a very nice rubbery compound with some information like the model GT King, and nothing special, no specification whatsoever. But let's take a close look at the dual boot. So when you're removing the SD card, it just basically uses the Android functionality. But I did notice they did some improvements in the last couple of years with the GT King. So if you want to see a full review about the Android box itself for 2021, I can make it for you guys. So let me know in the comments. But for now, let's take a close look at the system itself when it comes to the retro games. Alright, so you don't need any configuration when it comes to controller and Emulation. Everything has been set up for you. Just plug in the dongle, plug in the controller, and you're ready to go. And we can also play some Super Console X. But let's take a close look at the menu itself. But okay, for the people who have no idea what is this Emulation Super Console X stuff. So first of all, Emulation is a piece of software that you can just freely download from the internet. It's an interface that all includes the emulators that you're going to need for setting up your own Android system. What does this mean? If you're going to get a compatible box, Android box, you can just basically download the software, add the stuff to it, and you can just make it yourself. Take that in consideration. But what can we play with it? We can play a lot of stuff, really old school stuff, 8-bit, 16-bit, and I will not test it out in this video because it will run just fine. We're going to get like performance mixed bag situations where we're going to look it up a little bit higher with PlayStation Portable, stuff like that. That is what we're going to try out, because this king of the boxes needs to support it all. So that's what we're going to test out. So first off, let's play some Sony PlayStation Portable, and let's see how will that work on the GT King. Okay, so let's try out this game first, especially for my buddy from the Pandori team. So Tim, you're always a big fan of this game, so I was more like, why not test it out? Oh man, there we're going to get the first dip. And this is exactly what I mean. When it comes to the PlayStation Portable, even with the GT King, it struggles. But I can tell you, like, if you're having a cheaper system or a Super Console X normal edition, you cannot even run it normally. If you can live with the dip downs, you can still play PlayStation Portable. Alright, next up. I don't know what this flickering is, but that is not like it should be. So the FPS is in this game better. I can still see some minor hiccups. The flickering is really annoying. But again, I think like the only thing that can run PlayStation Portable decent enough is an Nvidia Shield. Okay, I think this thing costs only the half of an Nvidia Shield. But again, it's more up to you if you can live with minor hiccups with a game like this. But this means like two-dimensional games run just fine on the Super Console X King Edition. Next up, let's try this system. And the reason why I'm very curious about this, because with the Max Edition and previous model it didn't run that great. The struggles it had, it doesn't appear to be with the Super Console X King Edition. So the king is the king when it comes to playing this game. Why do I get this feeling all my buttons are not mapped correctly? Oh no, my controller just stopped working. Ah, crap. Alright, so next up, let's try Sega Saturn. I got so many questions regarding this system, and we finally have a system that runs it decent enough to enjoy. Take consideration, it does use frame skip. Yep. But it doesn't spoil the fun. We can play it. So let's play a little bit of Daytona and let's see what we're going to get with this. Okay, so the first thing I noticed, by the way, I need to crank up the volume of my television because the sound is very low. And it's a little bit of a bummer. I'm not good at this game at all. I just want to give you a quick gameplay. How I crash. But you can see with this gameplay that the game is actually running pretty good. And again, this is just actually like the first Android box from the Super Console X series that can run Sega Saturn game three-dimensional games. And the reason I start this game from the start on, like the intro part, normally with other Android boxes, you notice like we're going to get a lot of hiccups, especially with the intro. But now, nope. Let's go to the next part, because the next part is even more demanding. But a lot of stuff happening on the display. No stuttering whatsoever, no weird stuff going on with the audio. And this is the reason why I test out the high demanding stuff, because the loads, just the basic stuff, 8-bit, 16-bit runs fine. And you can, by the way, play with a basic Android box. And if you're spending the extra cash on the King Edition, you can see that we're having so much better performance, especially with the high-end stuff. Cruising, yeah, yeah, yeah. Or it's going to be like stuttering cruising in the USA. That's what we're going to find out. So far so good. This one's so much smoother, but I must say that I've played this game before recording, and we're going to progress in the cities like that's more demanding for the emulator. You notice like we're still going to get some hiccups. So this makes this game just playable, where we're going to get like Super Console X. Even the Max didn't have the power to play this game. But now we can play it, but with some minor hiccups. And then 64 will always be so demanding for these Android boxes that we need a lot of power. And the king is the king on the Android boxes, so far, I know, when I'm making this video, there is nothing better. But even with minor hiccup, you can still enjoy it like this. And now you're thinking, Wicked, why are you talking about hiccups? I don't see anything. Yeah, because it just happens sometimes randomly. Yep.